Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It Kino ripoff podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Bosco, joined as always by Eli Hargett, Dean Chapman, and Sydney Meredith. Today we're talking about Blackberry. What did you all think of it?
I liked it.
Eli.
I'm kind of right in the same boat. I liked it. I definitely thought it was an entertaining take on maybe like a controversial rise and fall of a company.
Sydney.
I liked it too. I think I liked it better than the last movie. I think the one note I had on it was a very fast-paced, fast kind of moving movie.
Surely, not a whole lot of breathing room. It didn't rest too much. Didn't give you as much time to forge the bonds with the characters. I didn't remember anybody's name.
The white-haired guy's Jim,
Mike.
and then Mike, and then the other guy's Jim, the bald guy's Jim, and then the other nerdy guy's Doug.
All right, I'll remember that for sure. Starts off with the gray-haired guy trying to. I beg your pardon. Gray-haired guy's trying to fix the little receiver in the room. It's not his. I'm taking a big gamble there, trying to potentially screw things up. Their sales pitch totally sucks. Bomb it entirely.
Yeah, they were very charismatic.
Bald guy, they were doing the pitch to, seemed to be having a pretty bad day, getting put to somebody else is doing his pitch to the higher ups in their company.
Yeah, that would be incredibly tough.
He's not really interested in hearing what they have to say. They're not really selling it well. Just horrible setup for everything.
You kind of have to set the stage for if you're doing a sales pitch, especially for a new product that's not established. First impressions are everything, so that would definitely have been an incredibly difficult situation to have to try to pull off.
For sure. They clearly had no idea what they were doing. Then credits roll, even though credits already rolled. We had 2 opening credits. I thought that was highly unnecessary, and I did kind of enjoy some of the stock footage, but I think it could have been accomplished in 1 opening credit scene. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
I thought like the bald guy was really, really mean at the beginning, but then I feel like I started to like him more, and then I started not liking him again, but that's later on.
Yeah, he certainly had his ups and downs. He was, well, some may say that he was in the realm of being a businessman. Maybe not successful, but he knew the ropes. He knew what he was doing. He understood the high risk, high reward nature of everything. Clearly had a good business sense, good head on his shoulders, and the dorks had none of that whatsoever.
They were just kind of like having fun.
Movie night.
Yeah,
The bad guy sitting at home one night, having a few drinks, watching a hockey game, and takes a look over their pager type deal that they had, not prototype, but the diagram for what they were trying to accomplish, and decides to make an offer to him. Headband convinces the gray-haired guy not to take the deal, which, yeah, in my opinion, I feel like it clearly worked out for him, and he did good there, I suppose, but they needed the deal, and they had no idea what they were doing, so
because they thought they were getting a $16 million deal, right? For selling like some kind of fax machine.
Modem.
modem. Sorry.
US. They were selling it to US Robotics, I think.
Yeah.
But
And
they were really just
said,
getting fucked over.
Yeah, said they had sent a defective product and they sent a fax, but the individuals did not have a fax machine. I never saw that they made good on sending them a fax machine.
I would most certainly say they did not.
I think they should have.
I think they knew
But-
they didn't have a fax machine and were like, did it on purpose.
Ultimately, Headband convinced Gray Hair to call up the bald-head guy with a counteroffer. They do some scene where they're planning out to have some ridiculous negotiations, and luckily Gray Hair has the sense to not waste his time with that. I mean, if they knew how to play business, they could attempt something like that, but he just went for the final offer right out the gates, and that, I think, was a smart decision for their situation.
Yeah.
33% for 125,000.
It was a lot better
And
than the first deal.
co-CEO. Yeah, for sure. So things did work out. Kind of set the stage for me because initially I did not very much care for this guy Doug because he seemed to be just throwing things away, but ultimately, in that sense, and many times going forward, he did kind of prove his worth in some way.
Wait, Doug's the nerdy guy.
You'd headband,
Yeah,
right?
he's Headband.
Oh, okay. He's the guy who loved movie night.
Yeah, that was something else I didn't very much care for. But once a bald guy shows up, he gets them all in shape a little bit. Starts making deals with to sell the prototype, and just gives them a deadline. Kind of puts the gun to their head, and they pull through, bring something together.
And it was like falling to pieces, made out of like a Game Boy. Game
They,
Boy
like,
shell,
made
I
it?
guess.
Out of like a calculator and
Yeah.
a bunch of other things.
Yeah, I mean, didn't like you said, it didn't have to be something that was functioning. He just had to be a proof of concept, something tangible that could be held and shown in front.
In
I
a
did
side
like how
note,
when they get
I wanted to point out that there's a homeless man that's staring a hole in me right now.
I feel like it got to like when they were first doing the pitch with the phone. They made like the prototype. Well, that one guy tried to do it on his own, Jim, and they didn't like what he was saying because he didn't know anything techie. So it seems like at first they really needed each other.
Oh yeah, that was a really good moment, I thought, because he, like you said, was given the sales pitch on his own, bald guy, and up there just given the business pitch, but didn't know anything about the tech side whatsoever, and they were ready to laugh him out the room. He thought that they were just some kids with a pipe dream, and then he shows up and gives a tech explanation and blows their minds.
Yeah, I guess he got lucky. Lucky guess.
Yep. Then we have our first time skip. It shows some stock footage of like phones being sold and some just the people, the crew going around. I thought that may have been real footage of the crew, but I don't think it was.
I'm not really sure either. Because I feel like some of the footage was real, like later in the movie with the Apple footage and stuff, but I don't know how much of that part was real.
Yeah, it kind of didn't. It didn't necessarily. It looked a little like cinematic, almost.
Yeah. It's a time skip. We're in 2003.
Yeah.
And then I feel
They
like
are
Elsa-
just developing.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I feel like also as time went on, his hair gets more white and more weird looking.
Oh, that's what we
I
call
wouldn't be
it.
able to tell you. It looked pretty weird looking from the get. I don't think it got any
Yeah,
different, I suppose.
one of my first notes was his hair looks obviously fake, but
Oh well, my first thought was that he was my going name was going to be Old Guy instead of Gray Hair, but turns out he wasn't old, just had gray hair.
yeah, he's not old.
Cool like that, I suppose. But time skip, we're in 2003. We got a breakthrough that allows them to text through the internet for free. Effectively, what a iCloud or iMessage type thing would be in modern terms, though text messaging is generally free these days.
Yeah, but not back in the day. It was different back in the day, I guess. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, you had to.
I
used
remember
to-
when text
I
messaging
used to. We
used-
used to have 500 text limits a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do slightly remember it, but so hazy.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
have-
drugs, a lot of alcohol.
I'm pretty sure we were in like middle school.
Yeah, I was
Certainly was
like
done away
7th grade.
with, and there were plans. I'm pretty sure there were plans that were more expensive. It's just nobody would buy them because they were too expensive. That allowed unlimited texting.
Yeah. Oh, nah, I gotta have my unlimited data now.
Mhm.
For sure, it's certainly a totally different
Now
landscape
that's why I watch
entirely.
Instagram
I mean,
reels all day.
Yeah, I got that TikTok brain rot.
I've never watched Instagram Reels. I hate them.
I like them all, honestly.
But
Shorts.
comes down to the fact that gray hair and bald guy are going to need some better engineers to accommodate the sales, because the bandwidth is just going to totally crash if they get more than like 500,000 people on a server at any given time. Bald guy goes and makes some high offers, buys off a Google engineer, and somebody from some video game company. I don't remember which one it was. Was it Naughty Dogs or something? No.
I have no idea. But
It was
also,
like Naughty Dog or like Nintendo. Or...
Yeah, I think it was
Like-
Bungie.
before that, what he was trying to do was to sell like a ton of the Blackberries because Palm Pilot was trying to buy up all their stocks and basically just own the company, and he didn't want to give the company away to them. So he kind of hired that guy to like whip all the engineers into shape because they were doing like
Illegally.
movie night and all kinds of stuff.
Their workspace sure did seem very ridiculous in my mind, though Headband does go well. He does do well as far as making a pitch that like, hey, we are working overtime. We're doing a whole lot of work here, and part of
Yeah,
the reason
80
we're here
hours.
so constantly is because we're able to also chill and relax. So you do see both sides of it, even though you see a lot more of the messing around in my mind than you do the technical breakthroughs, but I guess it's probably harder to show that and display that on screen. They did well when they did show things of the sort.
Yeah, when they had to finally do something.
Yeah, and then I know near the beginning of the movie when they were doing pretty good, like they wanted to have the engineers make everything, and they didn't. The one guy that they hired from Google, was it Google? I don't know, the mean guy. He kept pressing like, let's do everything through China, and they kept saying no, 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 no.
Yeah, I really liked how he rested on his laurels on that for as long as he possibly could. Didn't want to offshoot, and I really liked the thing they had rolling with the buzz at the beginning, though I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that he was potentially breaking other people's stuff to fix it before a sales pitch, you know. That did
He's a
provide a nice...
tinkerer.
a nice little thing. Ultimately, we do a time skip to 2007 when the iPhone is revealed, and I did like how gray hair was just convinced it was a gimmick and it wasn't going to take off. I don't know that I loved their portrayal of that. I did watch a couple Rise and Fall videos leading up to this, and from what I understand, in reality, he thought that the touchscreen was never going to be able to be as responsive as it was, because earlier touchscreen technologies would be a lot more resistant, and they'd be a lot more fragile but more resistant to the touch.
Well,
and put a big stock in the idea of buttons, which I personally largely agree with, though I do love the modern phone landscape that we have. I certainly don't like when things try to get rid of buttons.
Why?
And implement like touch controls in
like
place of them.
cars.
Oh yeah, I
Hate
don't.
that in cars.
I don't like that in cars, but like a phone, I feel like his whole pitch was like, "Oh, we're the Blackberry because we have the clicking. Everybody loves this clicking." I'm like, nobody freaking loves that clicking. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't want that constant clicking.
Well, and he certainly seemed to be on a spectrum of sorts. I would say that there is a certain level of satisfaction to that type of thing to a certain type of person. It's never gonna, it doesn't take very long for people to get used to not being there, though. Is the problem that he seemed to not really want to come to terms with.
It also falls back on like what we were saying earlier in the movie, like, well, the bald guy kind of started doing his own thing, and he was messing around with stocks and
trying to buy the Pittsburgh.
Yeah, all kinds
Penguins.
of stuff, and like he wasn't helping in the company anymore. So once he kind of fell off and stopped responding in the company, then the other guy didn't know what to do because they kind of just needed each other in a way, and so he didn't really know how to run a business. He just knew the tech side, and so he was just failing miserably trying to run this business.
Ultimately, Gray Hair does agree to offshore production to phones to China so they can have a more iPhone-esque experience. And trouble comes knocking for... They didn't, and that was something that I saw also on real life, that and the videos I'd seen kind of summarizing things, where they had said that like he put a lot more stock in having a functioning browser than the third-party apps. And also, though I would have been involved at the time, I feel like I would have also agreed with that as well. Because one of the things that I can't stand about modern phones are pretty well, but like with the newer PlayStations, they just entirely did away with the browser.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And browsers on smart TVs aren't really entirely there.
My God,
everything's all based off of apps now.
It's just get on a browser on my Google TV anymore. I have it won't even. It's not even like an internet browser option.
I had to download a separate app, but even then, that's going back to an app situation.
Yep.
But iPhone, Steve Jobs, whoever over at Apple, they surely were able to see the wave of the future in allowing this type of stuff. For better or for worse, I wouldn't be able to say because I'm not a tech guy. They're all getting into some trouble because of all the bald guys offshoots and stock deals and trying to sell sell things. Gray hair ultimately sells out.
Hire
Bald
people
guy.
illegally with discounted stocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, after they switched,
Final time skip.
Oh, I was gonna say after they switched to China, they really kind of fucked themselves over because the product they were making there was way more quality than the product that China ended up giving them.
Yeah, that last phone that they had in the final time skip, 2008. Your gray hair guy is dealing with the Chinese iPhone. Every one of them have that buzzing going on. Or not iPhone, but the iPhone knockoff. The browser, The interface on it just looked awful. I don't know. I've never really had I had one Blackberry, but my brother had a Blackberry, and I broke my LG phone, so I had a Blackberry after.
Dean said his dad had that phone.
Yep, he had the Blackberry Storm. The one that was recalled. And paid Verizon a bunch of money. It was something else. I don't know if he still has it. I think he might. Cool.
I feel like
And the screen did click, and be damned, it was satisfying, but very gimmicky.
I feel like
by
before
today's standards.
I had an iPhone, I always had like one of those like Samsung phones that was like it had a touchscreen, but it also had a keyboard on it. Like it slid up a keyboard. I never just had like before the iPhone. I never had like a fully touchscreen phone.
Yeah, me neither. I just had the slide keyboards.
Yeah,
I like the slide keyboards for what they were.
I love that phone, except for I remember like 2 of them I broke because they just like ripped in half. Keyboard detached.
If they can make the new flip phones more like durable, oh, I'd get one.
Are they not durable?
Like the folding screen, or?
Yeah, the folding screens or the phones. Yeah.
Nah.
I don't like them either.
It would be sweet.
I like my iPhone.
It's just so
You
small.
don't care for iPhone?
What?
Team Galaxy over here. No, I really don't care about phones like that.
You know,
I
it's
mostly just
crazy.
used it.
Thinking about it, though,
YouTube
the
and
real
stuff.
life implications of the movie and everything. You know, how much money Blackberry fumbled away.
They were on point. They were very innovative. They came up with a really solid product that functioned in a way that nobody else had ever thought of allowing. Ultimately, his downfall when he saw that the iPhone was announced was the idea that, well, he also thought that what was proposed was preposterous and never could be accomplished. He underestimated what other engineers operating from a different frame of mind. It certainly goes to show that we never know what the future may hold. It takes innovative minds and people thinking about things in a rather unorthodox way sometimes.
Yeah, and like being a software engineer, I mean, it just also depends on the place that you work. If your boss or bosses are telling you that, you know, you like are not welcoming innovative ideas and you kind of are working within a box, then, you know, I mean, that's kind of how I felt Blackberry was. Like the higher up people are like, you're gonna do this and you're gonna like it. Whereas like there's other companies out there who are like, okay, we welcome innovation. So I think it just depends on your work environment as well.
For sure.
But I did like how they used.
Anybody got any final thoughts?
I was gonna say I didn't like how
Well,
they used.
actually, I guess we need to do ratings before final thoughts. My bad.
Yeah, can I say? I didn't like how they used the actual like Apple event when they were showing the iPhone coming out. I thought that was a cool little thing they did because I was like, is this the
Oh
real
yeah, everybody in the
Blackberry?
room there together, just
Yeah.
They did what? Been there all day, working really hard on this little Blackberry, trying to get like a little touchpad going.
It was pretty
They
funny.
come out
A
with a
pretty
full
funny
touchscreen,
movie. I
so.
thought the first half of the movie was pretty funny, and then after that, I was like, it's okay.
I did start falling off near the end. I was kind of ready for
Yeah.
it to end.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel the same way.
But
Like,
overall, I feel like I kind of enjoyed the ride.
and
Okay.
everything kind of, like I said, was going so fast. Like, there was no time to think about stuff. It was just going and going and going.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the ratings. Eli, what would you rate it?
I'll give it a 7.1. That was good.
Jane? I guess you should have gone first since it was your movie. Oops.
Oh, no, it's all good. Man, I think I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because I think I liked it a little bit more than Outbreak. But I don't know. Yeah.
All right, Sydney, what would you give it?
I'm gonna give it a solid 6. I did enjoy it, and I thought parts were funny, but like I was saying, I feel like near the second half of the movie, I kind of started falling off, and it wasn't as
Yeah, I agree.
entertaining as the first half of the movie, but I did like the movie.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like I was. The ending, where like the little credits, where they tell you like, oh, this is what happened after this movie. I do like
Right.
that Headband is a billionaire now, and he sold at the peak of 07 of their stock.
Yeah,
That was a
good,
cool.
good to
little
hear for
thing.
him. And quite
But,
frankly, and
And Bald Guy got
from
away
my
with
perspective,
everything.
as just watching. Yeah, well, from my perspective, just watching the movie, I feel like I would have personally gotten rid of Headband a long time ago. So it is good to see that he not only stayed through it through the best, but sold out at the highest, and you know.
Yeah, he's like a billionaire or something like that.
He said he was one of the
Right.
richest
Higher up.
guys in the world.
Yep, I myself gave this a 6.4. I liked it a little better than Outbreak for the most part. The ending, I lost my interest. I don't know how much I'd be interested in watching it again, but I wouldn't be opposed to it if the time arose.
I agree with that.
Honestly, when I started off watching the movie, I was not that interested at all. I was very ready to dislike this, but came out thinking it was pretty solid.
I agree. I thought it might be boring just by the context, but it actually ended up being.
It does kind of feel like somebody saw The Social Network and said, let's do that, but with Blackberry.
I can see that. Yeah.
Sort of, but I also did not. I saw The Social Network in theaters, and I thought it was the most boring movie ever.
I love that movie. Not enough to pick it for the podcast, but I liked it.
Please don't
Either
pick
way.
it. I don't like that movie.
Don't worry. Alright, anybody got anything else to say about this?
I think that's I think we kind of covered everything.
Oh wait, we gotta announce the next movie, Johnny.
Oh yeah.
I was about to.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Alright, so our next movie, my next pick, is going to be Bug. B-U-G as in snug as A.
Bug
Kind
life.
of a psychological thriller. No, just Bug.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I can turn into a bug.
Starring Michael Shannon, Ashley Judd. It's somewhat of a psychological horror type movie. It's something of a love story. It's a whole lot of things.
Is
One
this-
thing I can say it is not, is boring.
Is this like
Oh.
a newer movie or an older movie? I'm just wondering.
It's like 2006, 2007, something.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
I've never heard of it.
Alright, well, looking forward to hearing y'all's thoughts about it. And if that's it, bye everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Uh,